So this question deals with the interpretation of a confidence interval. So it's basically the basic concept of what a confidence interval means or signifies. Let's read the question. It says a random sample of 50 students at a large high school resulted in a 95% confidence interval for the mean number of hours of sleep per day of 6.73 and 7.67. So basically, from a random sample of 50 students, we kind of try to calculate the confidence interval for the mean, the symbol is mu, the mean number of hours of sleep for all the students in that high school. Okay, so we're using a sample, we're trying to estimate the value of the true mean using a confidence interval. So we have an interval estimate between 6.73 and 7.67, right? The question says, which of the following statements best summarizes the meaning of this confidence interval? So please be aware that this interval is just one interval amongst infinitely many intervals. We took one random sample of 50 students, we got this interval. Now, that does not mean that the true mean number of hours of sleep obtained by students lies between these two values. This is just an example of an interval that could, not will, could capture the true mean. So let's read the choice to see which is the correct one. It says 95% of all random samples of 50 students from this population would result in a 95% interval of that. No. Different random samples will give you different intervals. So A is not right. B says about 95% of all random samples of 50 students from this population would result in a 95% confidence interval that covered the population mean number of hours of sleep per day. This seems promising. Again, it says 95% of all random samples would result in a 95% interval that covered or captured the true mean number of hours of sleep per day. So I'm just going to put a question mark there. We'll return to it later, okay? C says 95% of students in the survey reported no. That's not what a confidence interval is at all. The interval gives you an indication, it just suggests the true mean number of hours of sleep per day for students in the school lies between this and this. And that's just one example of an interval, but it is not that 95% of the students. Part D says 95% of the students, well, immediately that's out. And then E says a student selected at random will sleep between. Now that's not what an interval is. So the correct choice is choice B. B says 95% of random samples would create 95% confidence intervals that would capture the true mean. That is true. In the long run, 95% of intervals would capture the true mean. That's exactly what B says.